And now the forces of transgenderism get stronger and stronger, and they're coming for our kids. Good morning, Boston. Okay, a lot to talk about today, but I got to tell you, my friends, look, I know I'm going to get to the debt ceiling. Things are coming down to the wire. Worst case scenario, that story will be here on Tuesday. It's obviously Memorial Day weekend. Monday, we're going to be off here on the Kuhner Report. But what I find incredible, this to me is something I can't wrap my mind around, is even after what happened to Bud Light with Dylan Mulvaney and what is now happening to Target, and the massive backlash because they are pushing clothing at kids, swimsuits, trying to have women wear, or girls wear men's bathing suits and boys wear girls' bathing suits, on top of pushing merchandise, literally promoting LGBTQ Satanism. I'm not exaggerating. By a Satanist transgendered fashion designer. In the wake of this massive backlash, Bud Light, the ownership, Anheuser-Busch has lost billions of dollars in stock market value. They can't even give their beer away. Target was hemorrhaging customers and was flooded with complaints. They will not stop. It's as if Bud Light has taught them nothing. If anything, they're getting even more aggressive, more militant, more in your face, and they're accelerating their push to sexualize and groom children, our kids and our children. And the latest front in this ceaseless culture war is now the North Face, the outdoor recreational company. As you know, they do outdoor recreational clothing. You buy whatever, flannel shirts, hats, whatever, anything you need for the outdoors. Frankly, over the years, I've bought stuff from the North Face. They have good quality stuff. So if you like outdoor, you want to do something outdoors or whatever, there's a lot of good things you can buy at the North Face. Clothing, you name it. Now they have come out with an ad. I'm not, you're going to say, Jeff, you have to be exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating an iota for effect. It is a summer ad campaign in which they are selling clothing, outdoor clothing, to children, to kids. And they're using a drag queen. Apparently, I never heard of this person, but now everybody's famous, I guess. So a drag artist and so-called intersectional environmentalist, whatever that means. Patty Gonia is, according to Patty Gonia, according to him, he is a quote-unquote real-life homosexual. So you have Patty Gonia, a real-life homosexual. He's a biological man, there's no question. And in the ad, he is dressed in rainbow clothes, which is what they're promoting, all this rainbow clothing to kids, a mini skirt. He has a mustache, full mustache, lipstick, makeup, the whole bit, a wig, women's clothing, like a woman's wig, high heels, as I said, a mini skirt. And he's parading around outdoors, dressed as a fully in drag. And he's urging children and kids to, quote unquote, come out and go to the outdoors. And what he means by come out, he doesn't just mean go play. He means, come on, you're transgender too. You may be a boy, but come on, you're really a girl. You're a boy, you're a girl. You're a girl, you're a boy. You're a little bit of both. Have fun. Be like me. In other words, sexually confuse our children, groom them, sexualize them. He makes all kinds of sexual references, gestures, laughing, trying to titillate children and telling them, buy this clothing, you can be trans too. Buy this clothing, you can be a drag queen too. It's turning people's stomachs. It has gone viral. It has gone absolutely everywhere. People are saying, this is real. It's not a joke. It's not fake. They're now using drag queen artists to sell outdoor clothing in whatever, rainbow colors, aimed directly at 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids. Here is the ad. Think man dressed in a mini skirt, but in all rainbows, high heels, makeup, a mustache, red wig with long wavy hair, long, what is it, like purple or bluish, long fingernails, dancing in a sexually provocative way on the grass outdoors, and making funny sounds and funny facial expressions as he's telling kids, this summer, go to North Face and, yep, get all the rainbow-themed clothing you want because you can be transgender too. Roll cut 47, Mike.
Hi, it's me, Patagonia, a real-life homosexual. And today I'm here with the North Face. We are here to invite you to come out in nature with us. Wow, this is nice. We like to call this little tour the Summer of Pride. This tour has everything. Hiking, community, art, lesbians making art. Last year, we gay sashayed across the nation and celebrated Pride across the nation with hundreds of you across the nation. This year, we're back again with 2 new stops. Atlanta, GA. Why? Because you're there. In Salt Lake City, we're coming for you.
Hi, can we go?
Of course! This year, all these fabulous speakers will be coming from inside this TV to a nature near you. So come outside and celebrate the beautiful LGHGTV community. This is pretty gay.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm sorry, it's unbelievable. Now, many in the gay community are coming out against this. Gays Against Groomers are saying this is beyond sick. This is their words, not mine. The sexual indoctrination and the sexualization of children. That this has nothing to do with clothes. This has nothing to do with selling a product. That this is now really trying to confuse children, sexualize children, and turn them into transgender drag queens. That this has no business. No company should be promoting this. No company should be targeting. This is child abuse. They are now deliberately targeting children. It's absolutely inexcusable. And they're now urging a boycott. Many people are urging a boycott of the North Face. Now, I'm telling you, I'm done with them. No way in my home after this ad campaign. I don't care if I got to order online. I don't care if I got to wait 3 weeks to get a hat or get a flannel shirt or whatever it is. Whatever outdoor stuff Ashton needs or Ava needs or Grace or me. I don't care. I will go anywhere, but I'm not going to the North Face. That I guarantee you. Now, what I find incredible, they're okay with this. In fact, as many people have commented, first of all, how are you selling clothes with this? Like, what does this, seriously, what does a drag queen telling children that we're coming for you in Salt Lake, and notice, in Mormon country, or we're coming for you in Georgia, which is more obviously traditional Christian. In other words, we're coming for your kids. And you can't see it, obviously, because you're just hearing the audio, but there's a television with prominent drag queens. And they're saying they're going to be joining us across the country as well. And we're coming to a neighborhood near you. Nothing says rugged outdoorsman like a drag queen in a mini skirt and a wig. Nothing. Whoa, that really screams rugged outdoorsman, huh? So they're not selling clothes. They're not. What they're selling you is a radical, frankly sick sexual agenda. That's what they're selling. And to do this directly against kids? Now, what they're telling you, here's what the North Face is telling us. We want to offend you. But this is what they're saying. We want to offend you. If you're have any conservative beliefs, traditional beliefs, you're normal. You're just normal. You don't want to see kids sexualized. You don't want to see drag queens performing in front of 4, 5, 6-year-old kids. You don't want to confuse children at the age of 6, 7, 8. What, their gender, their identity, they're a boy, they're a girl, whatever. Then you know what? We don't want your money. We want to violate your values. We want to rub it right into your face. Don't give us your money. That's what they're telling us. Okay, let's oblige. You don't want our money? Don't give them our money. But what's even more concerning is this is a business. This is a well-known corporation. I mean, the North Face has got outlets and they're all over the country. And they don't stop. There is something demonic at work. There is something in woke culture, in woke corporate America, in the radical LGBTQ community, in the transgender community, that I'm telling you, it is evil, it is anti-children, it is anti-nature, it is clearly anti-God, and it's borderline now, we're really getting close to pedophilia. The grooming and sexualization of children. And I just want everybody, what did they say? This started 30 years ago. We just wanted acceptance. Okay, fine. No. We want same-sex marriage. We don't just want acceptance. We want same-sex marriage and full civil rights. Okay. Then they said, no, we just want to be left alone as transgender people. Okay. Then they said, we just want acceptance as transgender people. Okay. Now, they want our children. Now it's gone from we just want to be accepted to gay marriage to we're a transgender, leave us alone, to now we are coming for you and your kids. We want to sexualize your children. We want drag queen story hour. We want to be in every school. We want to be in every school library. We want to be in every commercial. We want to target every product that we can aimed at your children. We are this close to out and out pedophilia. What say you? 617-266-6868 is the number. The countdown to iHeartRadio Access Day has begun, and you're in for some awesome deals. Deals you may never see again in your lifetime, so don't wait. Head to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com to register or receive reminders for when deals go live June 1st. Okay, my friends, huge culture war story, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And that is now the increasing aggressiveness and militancy of the transgender drag queen movement. Despite the fact that Bud Light has taken a beating among customers, hemorrhaging in stock value, losing money hand over fist. Disney, I want to get to them in just a second. Disney now doubling, tripling down on sexualizing children and promoting drag queens to kids. The Los Angeles Dodgers, I'm going to get to that story as well, have now re-invited these are transgender drag queen performers who mock nuns. Literally, they mock nuns. They dress as nuns. These are men in beards who sisters of perpetual indulgence. And they're going to be now given an award on LGBTQ Pride Night at the stadium where the Los Angeles Dodgers play to honoring them. And they literally, their whole act is an assault on Catholicism, on Christianity, literally on Jesus and Mary. It's demonic. It's absolutely demonic. Yet the Rainbow Mafia is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It is relentless. It is ceaseless. Even when it's bad for business, they don't care. And so many are saying now, go woke, go broke is not enough. It's just not enough. We need to take it up a level ourselves. We need to now engage this culture war head on, because if we don't, they are coming for our children. And you see it clearly in this ad in the North Face. It is a disgusting ad. It is deliberately targeted at young kids, and it's right in our face. They make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I want to ask you, what's going on? What do you think is driving this entire phenomenon of now pushing drag artists, drag queens, and it's often men, not always, but often men, with either beards or mustaches, and they're men. I mean, they're biologically men who claim to be women, dress up outlandishly in very sexualized ways. For example, the North Face ad, it's a well-known drag queen performer, calls himself a real-life homosexual, in a miniskirt, with all the makeup and the hair and the high heels and the constant sexual gestures and and the motions and all of this, and openly saying, we want to perform to your kids, we want to sell clothes to your kids, we want your kids to wear our clothes, be like us, behave like us, hang around with us. Your child must be transgender too. And by the way, they're selling clothes. But you watch this 60-minute commercial and you're like, what are you selling, man? Like, how is this going to get people to buy outdoor clothes? It's got radical LGBTQ agenda stamped all over it. And even though the backlash has been immense, like Target, like Bud Light, the North Face says, this is who we are. We have to have diversity. We have to have equity. We have to have inclusion, and we will not back down an inch. What do we do? What can we do? 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, I just want to read a quick message I got. Now I'll go right to the phones. You can text the Kuhner Man 70470, or as always, you can email me. Jeff, do you remember about a year ago, I sent you a link to a viral music video put out by the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir called, quote, "Will Convert Your Children," unquote. I do. I remember that. We played parts of it. I remember it distinctly. In this song, they said the quiet part out loud, but they said it and they're not shy about it. Here is he sends me the link again. I don't want to get into that, but he goes, Jeff, if you want, you can play the first minute of the song for the audience. My only critique is that they're not here to convert your children. They're here to pervert your children. Well, both. You're right. But what is sick about this is they're deliberately now targeting children. It's deliberate. It's out in the open. And what are they targeting them for? Remember, they're pushing now transgenderism. So what they want eventually is to have your child engage in sexual mutilation. The goal is to convince your daughter she has the wrong female plumbing. So you want to, start cutting off certain body parts and then, get other body parts attached. That's the goal. So the goal is to eventually go through a sex change operation or to take, puberty blockers or to engage in chemical castration. Same thing with boys. It's in the curriculum. It's in the schools. It's in the culture. It's in Disney. It's in pop culture. It's everywhere you go. It's in ads. It's being pushed by corporations. It doesn't stop. Now, again, remember, what do they want? They want a boy to become and transition to a girl. They want a girl to transition to a boy. So we're talking about genital mutilation. So what they're pushing, they're targeting kids so they'll be sexually mutilated and sexually exploited, to be sexualized, to be like drag queens or strippers, or to perform and have kids 6, 7, 8 years old dressed in very provocative clothes, and adults saying, yeah, bravo, and throwing money at them as they work the pole or whatever. I mean, come on. Hey, listen, look, I'm a libertarian on many issues. You know my position. What consenting adults do in the privacy of their own home, the state has no business. Okay? So I don't care. We've had drag queens for hundreds and hundreds of years. But that's in home. That's behind closed doors. That's what you want to do, what you want to dress. Hey, that's your business. But when you start going public and you start deliberately now targeting and grooming and sexualizing kids, no. That's pure sexual exploitation. It is evil. It is, to me, it's clearly anti-Christian. It's anti-family. It's anti-child. Frankly, it's anti-God. It's as close to Satan as you can get. You can't negotiate with these people. You can't reason with these people. There's no deal to be made here. There's no compromise. There's no halfway measure. They must now be thoroughly defeated. They are not going to stop. Again, I have to repeat it. This started 30 years ago. And what was the argument? The argument was we just want to be accepted. Hey, leave us alone. Just tolerate it. Okay, sure, okay. Then it was, well, no. Now we want to have full rights and we want same-sex marriage. Okay. Then it was, well, now transgender people, we want to be accepted. We just want to be treated as normal. Leave us alone. We want to come out and okay, all right, you'll be treated as normal. Now they're literally going after the kids. Now it's in your face. Now, the next step, and it's now very close. We're practically there now. Just look at the North Face ad, man. Now it's pedophilia. Now it's child molesting, sexual exploitation. It's pedophilia. We're almost there. We're just about there. Now, if we don't push back with everything that we have, our society, our civilization, our culture, our children, everything, it's gone. It's gone. Forget Sodom and Gomorrah. This is even worse, if it's possible, than Sodom and Gomorrah. 617-266-6868 is the number. Agree, disagree. Rick in Weston. Thanks for holding, Rick, and welcome.
Jeff, great show. I listen every day. You might hear me screaming at the radio. I agree this is a horrible story, and there are wicked individuals harming our children. But I think there's a greater story here. In the last 2 weeks, we had the CIA 51 laptop story come up. We had the Biden crime family 10 come up. And they are no longer the top story in the media. And I think the insane child molesters are a dodge. I think they are using this horrible thing to escape. I also believe they have sacrificed children and drank blood oaths to Satan. May God help us. What do you think?
Well, I mean, look, I think honestly, on this, these are two separate issues. You're right. They are trying to bury that. There's no question. That's why they're going on about the debt ceiling and the debt negotiation. But this has been going on for years, and it's intensifying. It's widening. It's now becoming really mainstream, which is this drag queen transgender culture, this sexual exploitation and grooming, sexualization of our children. And it is satanic. And by the way, there's no accident. Satanism is on the rise. I mean, it's well documented. Hell, they just had a convention in downtown Boston. And there's all kinds of sick sacrifices and rituals now that they're engaging in. Literally at the convention, they were going on about the glories of abortion and sacrificing babies to Lucifer. I mean, it's right there on tape. You don't have to even speculate. So it's getting, look, there's a degeneracy. There's an evil now in the air. And many people have noticed this woke culture that we're seeing here in the United States, Canada, and Europe, very similar to what the Soviets did, what the Bolsheviks did during the Soviet Union. In fact, shockingly, there's a speech by Putin. Leave aside the invasion of Ukraine and all that. Putin just delivered a speech saying, I'm telling you as a Russian nationalist, and as every Russian in Russia knows, what you're seeing now with this woke ideology, this woke culture that is now spreading like a cancer in the West, is literally a repeat of what the Bolsheviks did to us under the Soviet Union. And on this issue, he's right. He just is. So the question is, what are we going to do? Now, I'm recommending immediately we boycott the North Face. Everybody, please. And tell everybody, don't buy another shred of clothing from them again. But I fear it's not going to stop. Bud Light has taught them nothing. So the question is, if they're not going to stop, what should we do? Now, you need to be aware of this very quick because I want to go to the phone lines. As you know, the World Health Organization, the WHO, is a branch or it's an ancillary to the United Nations. The WHO, now it's been reported by multiple media organizations, there have been files leaked. And according to these leaked files, the WHO now is pushing behind the scenes aggressively that, quote unquote, pedophilia be decriminalized. Not legal, and I don't want to go that far just yet, but that pedophilia be decriminalized. And according to them, listen to this, quote, children must have rights to enjoy all forms of sexual activity. Let me repeat that. Children must have the right or rights. It's exactly how it's worded at the WHO. Children must have rights to enjoy all forms of sexual activity. Children. This is now where we're heading. There's no getting away from this. And it's ad after ad after ad. It's in schools. It's in the curriculum. It's being pushed by wokeism and woke teachers, not just at the university level, literally now at the elementary and middle school level. It's drag queen story hour. It's relentless. Now, Target is now in serious trouble because they claim that they withdrew the satanic LGBTQ merchandise. It's turning up on places across the country. They didn't remove it. And not only did they not remove it, my God, you got to see this. Mannequins of children dressed in such sexually provocative ways. I don't know what is wrong with these people. In the kids section, this is Target, man. Like, they know they're committing financially, economically, you're committing suicide. You're just spitting in the faces of your customers. I mean, families go there, mothers, children. I used to take my kids there. I'm not anymore. I'm done with them. But so, I mean, and this is the kind of garbage you're peddling? Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. 617-266-6868. There's a militancy. There's a fanaticism. There's a drive and a determination. They're not going to stop. I mean, the only word that keeps coming to my mind is demonic. There is something demonic about the Rainbow Mafia. Agree, disagree. 617-266-6868 is the number. Kirsten in New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Kirsten, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hi.
So I just want to come on, as a gay conservative, I am so against all of this transgender. I mean, we had an event in Bedford, New Hampshire not too long ago. This poor woman, Chloe, she's 18 years old, and her doctor started the transition at 12. They cut off her boobs, they gave her all these hormones, and she came out and told her story. And the scariest part is that the venue got changed 5 times because of death threats. This poor little girl couldn't even go to the bathroom without 5 officers escorting her, just for coming out against the transgender movement. And this poor girl will never have children. She can never breastfeed. And this mutilation of good versus evil.
Kirsten, are you still there? Because you're breaking up on us.
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, good. Okay, we got you. Okay, good. We got you back. Kirsten, what is driving this? I mean, I know you're right. Look, I pointed out in my opening monologue, Gays Against Groomers were one of the people. I mean, they're leading the charge now on the North Face ad, which is, I mean, to me, beyond the pale, absolutely beyond the pale. So I know there are many gay and lesbian conservatives, patriots who say, hey, look, this is leave children alone. This is sick. I mean, this is sexual exploitation of kids. What's driving this? Why are they so militant? Why are they so determined? Why they're relentless? Why will they not stop?
I think we are on the verge of MAPS, minor attracted person. And, I've already heard videos that people can go look up of teachers in classrooms actively in the United States, teaching kids that it's offensive to call them pedophiles or child molesters, that they need to call them MAPS. And this is honestly where I think we're heading. And I honestly think it is Satanist. Wow.
Kirsten, every time you're on, I got to ask you, because we know you're facing sentencing over that, a clear hit job that is being done against you for January 6th. Do you have any updates for us?
Do. So, I had protested Drag Queen Storytime in Manchester and going on your radio amongst many interviews. And the 31-page memorandum that the government has posted is attaching all of these protests or interviews I've done, and they are telling the judge that I am actively inciting violence. They are ordering that I pay my Give, Send, Go fundraiser money as a government fine, $500 restitution, 1 year probation, and 11 months in prison.
These people are insane. So coming on this show is an act of violence? Or protesting?
Yeah, I'm inciting violence.
You're inciting violence by coming on this show?
Yep, and all the interviews of telling my story and how I'm misleading the public, and I'm not sure how anybody could make me pay fundraiser money to the government.
These people are out of control.
It's honestly scary.
No, these are totalitarian thugs. They really are.
And you remember how I was telling you about the abuse Well, on the 23rd, because I tried to call yesterday, Peter Schwartz, he's a 41-year-old man. He got sentenced to 14 years in prison. Supposedly he assaulted a cop, which I don't know the whole story. Even if he assaulted a cop, do we really think that 14 years in prison is justified? And this man just had raw sewage backed up into his cell, and they left him like that for hours, and then the guards beat him. This just came out on the 23rd. So this is what is actively happening.
Kirsten, I'm just curious. What happened to all those Black Lives Matter activists and thugs? How many cops did they beat, blind, maim, some of them murdered and killed? I don't think anyone got 14 years. I don't think anyone got 1 year, never mind 14 years. Am I wrong?
No. And actually, Antifa, BLM, which now we've proven there was hundreds of them at January 6th, by their own admission, one of them just came out with a letter and did an interview with another January 6er admitting that they were there. And, you know, all these people's charges, most of them were dropped.
It's clear political persecution. There's no question. They're targeting you for your beliefs. They're targeting you for your politics. That's why they're coming after you, Kirsten. Ugh. Kirsten, as always, phenomenal call. Thank you for this incredible information. Stay strong and please continue to keep us updated. God bless you, Kirsten, and take care. 617-266-6868 is the number. I don't want to, January 6th, we can, I don't want to get sidetracked. I want to stay on this topic. I promise I'll revisit it. I give you my word. But, and I'm going to, I'm with Kirsten and all the January 6ers, and I'm calling for them to be pardoned, all of them, whether it's Trump, DeSantis, whoever ends up winning the Republican nomination, and I hope the presidency, and you know me, I'm hoping it's Trump, but whoever, DeSantis, fine. If he beats Trump, I don't care. Anyone's better than Biden. I hope either men will pardon the January 6ers. But I want to stay right back on topic. She's dead on. MAPS, minor attracted persons, i.e. pedophilia. Having sex with children. That's what this is all leading. It's to break us down. It's to wear us out. It's to mainstream, to normalize drag queens, children, being exposed to drag queens, and then, dressing like drag queens, being sexual, like engaging in sexual activity like drag queens. Slowly but surely, it's just to wear down our morale. And the ultimate goal is to destroy the family. It is to destroy religion. It is to destroy history. It is to destroy literally the fundamental building blocks of our society. There's no question about it. No question. It's a war on nature. It's a war on biology. It's literally what the Marxists and the Bolsheviks did in the old Soviet Union. It's done in a different way. It's done under a different guise. But the objective is the exact same. And if we don't realize this and say this must be defeated, completely and utterly defeated, there can be no compromise. There can be no negotiation, because you can tell they don't want compromise. Really, honestly, in this country now, who's stopping you from being a drag queen? Go ahead. You want to be a drag queen. You want to be a drag artist, be a drag artist. You want to do shows. You want to go in a room full of adults. You want to go to parties, bachelorettes, bars, whatever. No one. You can dress up. You can walk the streets as a man, as a woman. No one's going to stop you. So don't tell me it's about tolerance and acceptance. You more than have tolerance and acceptance. You can't stop coming after the kids. So now I know what your real agenda is. You've exposed yourselves. And I'm sorry, but everybody 30 years ago who said, you know what? You start going down this road, it's a slippery slope. Well, here we are. Here we are. The slippery slope, we're at the bottom now. here we are. So it's been 30 years of this. And now you give this another 2-3 years. Biden wins in 2024. Just give them one more term. And I'm telling you, you're going to have pedophilia decriminalized. MAPS will now be a new term that everybody's going to get used to. No, hey, you're attracted to men. I'm attracted to women. I'm attracted to both, to neither. You're X, you're they, you're them, you're it, you're he, she, whatever. And I go for kids. I like to diddle kids. That's how I roll. Mark my words. That's what it's going to lead to. And all of it backed by corporate America. That to me is what's incredible. Absolutely incredible. 617-266-6868. David on Cape Cod. Thanks for holding, David, and welcome.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff, the good news is that parents are speaking up, that they are rebelling against this, that Target's paying a price. Major League Baseball, the Dodgers are paying a price. I mean, baseball's hurting now with kids. Now, they think this is going to attract kids to baseball, promoting this anti-Catholic stuff with these guys dressed as nuns. You know, it's a mark. I think of Mother Teresa. She dedicated her whole life to the poor. And Mother Angelica. How about the nun there in Washington, D.C., and the Obama administration going after targeting the nuns, sisters of the poor, who dedicates their whole life to helping the elderly. This has been the Obama administration and the Biden administration have been targeting and mocking the nuns and Catholics. Let me tell you, Jeff, they wouldn't be doing this to Muslims. They would not be doing. They didn't dare touch this. You know, there's a school called Dedham Day School. I just found out this week, Jeff. A person I know's child goes there. They have a Black Lives Matter flag there. They're promoting this woke agenda stuff. They're promoting this transgender stuff. This person I know, their child is white. They're showing the child, oh, you come from a race that's nationalistic. That you're just like there's something wrong because you're white. You're like you're taking advantage of people because you're white. Jeff, this is wrong. Maybe you've heard about this book. It was on national TV. The moms in Texas and the moms in Virginia were protesting the book called Lawn Boy. Jeff, I couldn't believe when I first heard it. It was on Fox, actually, a few months back. National TV. Moms are protesting this book. It's an instructional book for boys how to have sex with older men. I couldn't believe, Jeff, until I looked it up. It actually is what the mothers
I know exactly the book that you're talking about. No, David, to be honest, look, you know me, I'm a free speech guy, and I've always said this. I believe in editorial freedom. And, God bless iHeart. They've given me that. I'm nervous now when you're talking, not because of what you're saying. You're saying the truth, the Lord's truth, because the book that you're talking about, which is being pushed in schools, is so graphic. It's so disgusting. It's so vile. I'm like, I think people are going to throw up. I honestly, David, I'm like, let's not talk too much about the details. Because it's that obscene. It's that perverted. But you're right. It's a how to, I know look, there are kids in the car now, families, mothers, dads, so I'll kind of clean it up. It's a sexual manual, instructional manual on young boys having sex with adult men. That's what it is. And it's very graphic. And it's very detailed. And I don't want to get into sex specifics, but it gets into certain specific sexual acts. Now, the parents show up outraged, saying, this is in our schools? This is in our libraries? This is what you guys are pushing on campus? And these liberals and Democrats, and led by Joe Biden, this is book banning. Oh my God, this is Hitler. I'm like, you people are sick. You're really sick. This has no business in any school, near any child, in any library. I mean, this stuff should be made illegal. This is child porn. What it is it's a form of child pornography. That's what this is. This is pedophilia literature. That's what this is. There's no redemptive value in this. I mean, this is as close to advocating for child molestation as you can get. So you're completely right, David. And you're right. Parents are starting to wake up. But what I find incredible, this is what I can't wrap my mind around this. You mean liberals don't agree on this? Like, really, Democrats? Like, no? Like, no, so it really is now, anything goes? Anything? Even sex with children? That's okay now? You guys are okay with that? Like, this is what so it really is now a deal and a bargain with the devil. That's what it really now is. Liberalism is Satanism. And Alexander Solzhenitsyn, the brilliant anti-communist, the Russian dissident, in his famous work, The Gulag Archipelago, said, in the end, after this, 6 volumes, he exposes all the crimes of communism. He said, if you really want to understand communism, at its fundamental heart, it's Satanism. It is a rebellion against the family. It's a rebellion against your country. It's a rebellion against religion, against faith, against culture, against history, but ultimately against God Almighty himself. He goes, you have to understand that this is what it is. And if you don't understand it, you can never defeat it. And David, the man's a prophet because he was 1,000% correct. I mean, am I wrong?
You're spot on. And Jeff, this transgender stuff with the mutilation of children, Jeff, the suicide rate, Father Spitzer from California is high. He's this genius. He's a brilliant. He quotes the Lancet scientific article. So the suicide rate is 20 times higher for children who get those operations. Then as they become into adulthood, they realize that they've done something permanent damage to themselves. The suicide rate, Jeff, the scientific study is 20 times higher for that class of people who've done that, Jeff. This is child abuse. Jeff, we got open borders now. We got people coming from cultures like violent cultures that this promoting pedophilia and stuff like this, Jeff, they look at America as the great Satan. And we get terrorists coming into this country. There's a class of cultures going on, Jeff. We got a lot of people from cultures that are extremely violent. And promoting this kind of stuff in our culture, Jeff, incites some of these radical terrorist types.
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. You're completely right. There's no question. David, really good call. Excellent call. There's no question. America really now is being seen by many people around the world as the great Satan. And I mean, in some ways, I can't, look, I love this country. You know how much I love America. But when you see this sickness, this sick, perverted stuff that we're peddling, I mean, I don't blame them. On one level, I can't blame them, really. Now, and just to put a final point on this, what we're watching now is an all-out war for the minds, the hearts, and souls of our kids. That's what this is now all about. And so I got to ask you, what are you willing to do? What are we willing to do? And I think, to me, one of the key things we have to do, we have to say, no, I'm sorry. There are certain lines in a civilized society you simply cannot cross. 617-266-6868 is the number. This is from 508. Jeff, Budweiser lost $15.7 billion in value. AT&T lost $10 billion in value. Disney streaming services is losing $1 billion per quarter. Wow. Netflix lost $9 billion in value. Target has lost $9 billion in value in a week. Again, the majority of America categorically rejects the woke. Look, I agree. To me, it's just incredible. Look at the money they're losing. They're losing money hand over fist. And instead of saying, ooh, Houston, we have a problem, they just keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down. Now, super quick, because I want to go right back to the phone lines. The previous caller, David, made excellent points. And one of them was that the suicide rate among those who transgender, especially those who transitioned and then regretted their transitioning, their sex change operation, is 20 times that of the rest of society. Well, just stand back objectively, okay? I mean, why should that be a surprise to anybody? Like, think about it, okay? Just imagine you. You were convinced by your peers, your teachers, social workers, medical so-called professionals, LGBTQ transgender activists. Say you're a man. Cut it off. Now it's gone. It's gone. And you realize you're now 21, 22, 23, and you're like, no, I'm not a woman. I want to be a man. Well, it's gone. I mean, it's too late. It's gone. Can you imagine? You can never have children. You can never enjoy, forgive me, intimacy. Here, you're a woman. Just think about it. They forced you at 14, 15, 16, whatever. Your private part is gone. Your breasts are gone. You can never have children again. You can never enjoy intimacy ever. It's what is done in certain Islamic societies in Africa and the Middle East, where young girls are forced to endure genital mutilation. And they talk about the horrors and the pain and the scarring and the damage and devastation. Once it's gone, it's gone. There's no going back. And this is now what they're pushing? The North Face has another, by the way, it's their second ad. This is their second one. And this is what they're pushing to young kids? This is beyond evil. Beyond evil. Agree, disagree, 617-266-6868. But when you think about it, just, say, hey, well, imagine if I did that to myself. Wouldn't you be suicidal? I mean, I would. Who wouldn't? Of course you'd be suicidal. 617-266-6868. Brenda in Beverly. Thanks for holding, Brenda, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. This is quite a topic to get the day started. Lord have mercy on us. And yes, I agree with you. It's completely demonic. I have a couple of things that I want to say. One of them is going to be very uncomfortable. First, I just want to say this is an all-out, full frontal assault and attack on God using the children. Yes, it's an attack on the children. But ultimately, what we have here, and you just brought up Solzhenitsyn, is we got to get God out of the environment. I think he is quoted as saying, when there's no God, there's no truth. I think he's the one that said that. And so then everything is relative. So therefore, everything just sort of all makes sense from that point. If there is no God, we can get rid of him because we have no moral and or higher authority, anything to have an accountability to have a conscience towards, then therefore that makes us the creator. Okay, he's out of the loop now. He's no longer the creator who made all of us equal, et cetera, et cetera. We are now the creators, and he becomes obsolete. So that has been the course, that has been this trajectory, and now they're using everything is about using and abusing, and of course you got to get to the children. So my question, and then I'm going to answer it, and this is uncomfortable only because I have people in my life that are homosexual. How did we get here? Well, we had to open a door. And what door did we open? Well, in our kindness and our generosity and us wanted to be fair, et cetera, we opened doors in the past when we celebrated and embraced people with different sexual lifestyles to say, hey, you know what, you can get married too. You can get married too, and you're just the same as me and you, yada, yada, yada. Now, if you, for those of us that are followers of God, and we're imperfect followers of God, that is not, I'm not holier than thou. I'm not painting myself as some kind of like morally superior person. Far from it. But God has condemned that lifestyle, not the person. God loves everybody. He loves evil people, which I have a hard time wrapping my head around, but that's God, because God is love, not the New Age. Love is love. His condemnation of anything that defiles the marriage bed, and the marriage bed is what he created between a man and a woman, is his divine instruction for the good of all of us, Jeff, for the good of humanity. So we opened the door because we were nice and kind and, we want to be fair. We have family members, friends, co-workers, neighbors, the whole schmeal. So what the heck would be the next progression after that?
You remove God, everything becomes permissible. Once again, always very, very thoughtful calls, Brenda. Okay. We have new listeners that come in at 7:30, so I just want to play this cut quickly and then continue with the calls. The North Face, the well-known outdoor clothing brand. Frankly, I used to buy stuff from them in the past. They do have very good clothing. I mean, I got to say, they got you like a nice flannel shirt, or their winter hats are excellent. Whatever, anything for outdoors. They're very well known. They got some really good merchandise. Well, I'm done with them. A lot of people are now getting involved in a massive boycott. I'm joining it. I'm urging everybody to join me and join us. They have now put out a new ad campaign for the summer. They have hired a quote-unquote drag artist, famous drag queen, Patty Gonia. She's also some kind of an environmentalist. But anyway, the bigger point is, it's a 60-second ad. Patty Gonia is a man, according to him, a real-life homosexual who always dresses up as a woman. In this ad, he is wearing a rainbow-themed miniskirt, high heels, a wig with long female hair, makeup, long nails, the whole bit, all kinds of sexual gestures, sexual sounds. The point is, they now are targeting transgender clothing, rainbow-themed clothing to kids. And this drag queen is urging kids, children, to, quote, come out. Come out, buy these clothes, become transgender in the great outdoors. They are now openly targeting and grooming children. What this has to do with selling outdoor clothes is beyond me. But the point is, they want children now to not only be transgender, they want children now to attend drag queen activities. They are now sexualizing our kids. I want to play the ad. Get your reaction. 617-266-6868. Here it is. Roll cut 47. Mike.
Hi, it's me, Patty Gonia, a real-life homosexual. And today I'm here with the North Face. We are here to invite you to come out in nature with us. Wow, this is nice. We like to call this little tour the Summer of Pride. This tour has everything. Hiking, community, art, lesbians making art. Last year, we gay sashayed across the nation and celebrated Pride across the nation with hundreds of you across the nation. This year, we're back again with 2 new stops. Atlanta, GA. Why? Because you're there. In Salt Lake City, we're coming for you.
Patty, can we go?
Of course! This year, all these fabulous speakers will be coming from inside this TV to a nature near you. So come outside and celebrate the beautiful LGHGTV community. This is pretty gay.
It's pretty gay. Yeah, that's what they went at the end. Pretty gay. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. I just, Sometimes you just you don't know what to say. You're speechless. Now, notice they didn't say Dearborn, Michigan. You know, many of you are texting in and making the point, Jeff, they would never try this on Muslims. Never. They'll go to Salt Lake. They'll go to Georgia. But he's not going to this guy's not going to Dearborn. I guarantee you that. You think the Muslims are going to allow you to come into their community and say, yeah, come here. We want your kids to join us for Drag Queen Story Hour. No, come here. We want your kids dressed in rainbow-themed T-shirts and outdoor clothing. And let's go play in the woods together. That stuff wouldn't fly, and they know it wouldn't fly. Now, they're already, I don't know how much business they've lost in the last 24 hours. You know, again, it's Bud Light. They don't care. Now, by the way, LL Bean, to me anyway, just in terms of products, infinitely better than the North Face. So go to LL Bean and let's stick it to these guys. Really, to me, the North Face should be gone. They should be driven out of business for what they're doing. This has nothing to do with clothing. This has nothing to do with promoting their products. This is pure sexual exploitation and grooming of kids. That's what this is. You don't get worse than this. 617-266-6868 is the number. Bob in Raynham. Thanks for holding, Bob, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff. I think there's a simple solution to all of this, and that is strong fathers and strong men. We have to stand up and you can't go after the perpetrators. You have to go after the enablers. And any school superintendent or school principal or school teacher that allows these people to come into a classroom and teach or do whatever they do to these minor children should be fired on the spot. And they would have been fired on the spot, say, 10, 20 years ago. And it has to happen at that level in every community in our state. I mean, when school starts, people have to go to the town meetings and they have to say, if you guys do any of this stuff, we're coming after you. We're going to demand the resignation of, again, any school official that allows us to enter the school. It has to happen that way.
No, I agree. No, Bob, you're right. Look, it's in the end, it's up to us. It's up to both the men and the women. I know your point about men. I agree with you, but it's up to mothers and fathers. It's up to the adults. It's up to parents. It's up to principals. It's up to teachers. It's up to all of us in the community. Enough is enough. Like, I'm sorry, but we've got to get some courage. I don't care if it's trendy now among the elites. I don't care if it's trendy even in schools. I don't care if it's trendy in popular culture. I don't care if Disney keeps telling me it's okay. It's not. I don't care what the North Face says or what Bud Light says or what all these woke corporations say. I don't care what Hollywood says. I don't care what the Democratic Party says. This is sick. This is sick. This is evil. This is perverted. That's all. And to be very clear about this, because I've been consistent about this my entire life, I opposed sex education to kids when they were talking about heterosexual sex. So, to me, look, when you're an adult, how you choose to live your life, that's your business. But when you're dealing with children, no heterosexual sex, no homosexual sex, no pansexual sex, no transsexual sex, no bisexual sex, whatever sex, no sex, period. That's it. It's inappropriate. They're way too young. They're innocent. Leave them alone. You don't sexualize children, period. Full stop. That's, to me, a basic condition of a civilized society. So this stuff should not be in the classroom. It shouldn't be in the library. It shouldn't be on television. It shouldn't be in cartoons. It shouldn't be in ads. It shouldn't be anywhere. And it's up to us now to say no. The answer is just no. You're going to go out of business. You're going to be ostracized. You're going to be shamed. We're going to get angry. We're going to speak out. It's not worth it. And really, I'm really saying this now in all sincerity to the transgender community. You want to cross-dress, you want to wear wigs, whatever you want to do. This is a free country and a free society. You can do it. No one's stopping you. But I'm telling you, lay off the kids. Lay off the kids. Sex has no place in school. Sex has no place in the curriculum. Sex has no place in the classroom. Full stop. So, Bob, I agree with you. And they're going to have to pay a price. And to me, what I want, what I hope, is that there's massive outrage and a will, a determination to resist and push back. And this is a battle we just can't lose. There are I'll be honest, there are many battles, Bob, where I go, well, if we lose, I don't like it, but it's not the end of the world. We can't lose this battle. So it's really up to us. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to everyone listening right now. I mean, agree, Bob, or not?
I agree, 1,000%. The other thing that I can't believe hasn't happened yet is regarding the male swimmer, is when the parents of the girls that are actually at these events, how they don't disrupt the meet somehow, either jump in the pool or get in the guy's way. Don't attack the guy, but don't allow it to happen.
Well, I think, Bob, honestly, one of the callers, I think, was brilliant on this, as best audience in the business. But just pull your child out. Just know. He wants to race, let him race by himself. You're saying, well, I'm hurting my own child. Yeah, in the short term. But in the end, if no one else competes, there's no race. 617-266-6868 is the number. My friends, it's almost time for Access Day on June 1st. That means huge savings from the brands you know and love, and once-in-a-lifetime giveaways and experiences from iHeartRadio. So go to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com now to register to receive reminders for when the deals go live. 617-266-6868. Marilyn in Norwood. Thanks for holding, Marilyn, and welcome.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Good morning. I have just a few brief points that I'd like to make, and then I'll hang up. A friend of mine with an interest in history was telling me that towards the end of the Roman Empire, when the empire was in a state of decline, much of the same kinds of the focus on the same kinds of issues that are now confronting and dividing our society also were surfacing then. So it's sort of like history repeating itself. But then I started thinking, basically, what happened in the Western world with the fall of the Roman Empire? Coincidentally, you had the rise and spread of Islam. And what did Islam bring to the Western world? Islam was sort of like the counterbalancing force to all of the decadence and corruption that had unfolded in ancient Rome. The other point I'd like to make is that I find it beyond shocking that here in the U.S. and in parts of Western Europe, there is this, and Australia, there's this endless focus on this topic. Meanwhile, the decline in education, basic education for children in the United States, it is just shocking and abysmal. China now is outperforming us in every area, and I almost wonder if some of this is, shall we say, being promoted or somehow incentivized by China and other countries that want to sort of see the West fall into decline so that they can gain both political and economic control of the world.
Oh, there's
so
no
I'm
question.
going to hang up now.
Oh, Marilyn, thank you. Really amazing call. Wow. I mean, you want to talk about a home run. There's no question that the communist Chinese are funding much of this. On TikTok, which they control, they're promoting this like crazy. Why? It sows gender confusion. You're telling men or telling boys to be girls. You're telling girls to be boys. Look at the damage that you're doing to society. And what it's also doing is it's destroying us from within. Because now you're unleashing this cancer that is just devouring us. And in terms of education, you think in China they allow this? I mean, not that I'm an admirer of the Chinese system, far from it. But their argument is, and on this they're right, reading, writing, math. You know, reading, writing, math, science, you know, whatever. The basic core curriculum, the basic core subjects that you need to be successful in life. They don't push this. And one of the reasons why our education system is really failing, well, look at what the kids are doing all day. Look what they're indoctrinating them with all day. Now, many of them can't read. Most high school graduates now, most, not all, but most, when they graduate high school, are barely proficient in reading and math at the 8th grade level. 8th grade. So they're going to college, and college professors, administrators, you have no idea, Jeff, the students that we get, they're at an 8th grade level. So they're not teaching reading, they're not teaching writing, they're not teaching math, they're not teaching science, they're not teaching it, forget history, forget civics, forget the Constitution, forget anything like that. So this is the garbage that they're peddling. So, yeah, no wonder our education system is failing. Now, it's clear. Look, just stand back objectively. You want to know what marked the late Roman Empire? A crushing bureaucracy. Sound familiar? High taxes. Sound familiar? No borders. An invasion from barbarians. The Romans were unable to protect any of their borders. That they were overextended in all parts of the world, overstretched militarily, a complete decline and loss in patriotism, factionalism within the government where factions were at each other's throats, oligarchs controlling the Roman Empire and using their supporters to rush at each other's throats, and marked by profound moral, religious decline. Perversion of any kind, every sort, proliferated until literally the empire collapsed on its own. It just collapsed from within. It just disintegrated. Now you tell me, and our founding fathers knew about Rome. They studied Rome, the Republic, the Empire, the whole thing. That's why they kept warning us. In fact, as John Adams famously said, look it up if you don't believe me. Our Constitution, our entire Republican system of government, is made for a, quote, religious and moral people. That if you lose the moral foundations of this republic, you will lose our government. Because ultimately our rights come from God. You take away God, we lose our rights. So we're just repeating history. History repeats itself. Well, you know the famous expression, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. Now, what happened was when the Roman Empire broke up, you're right, Islam rose, but so did Christianity. And on the rubble of the Roman Empire, Christianity flourished, and that's what gave Europe its second breath, its second great awakening. And then came the clash between Islam and Christianity. So who knows what may happen down the road. But I'm just saying, as things stand right now, we're going the way of the Roman Empire. I mean, this. I mean, you're targeting kids. You're sexualizing kids. I mean, I don't even think the Romans, frankly, went this far. 617-266-6868. John in Florida. Thanks for holding, John, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure, John.
This whole thing stems from our education system. I have a 6-year-old autistic grandson who is nonverbal, and he comes home from school one day with this cartoon book of drag queens, how it's okay to have 2 mommies and 2 daddies and all this stuff. Now, when you have the head of the teachers union, Randy Weingarten, handling the education system, this has been going on for years and years and years, and this is a crime against humanity. How dare our government go against other countries about crimes against humanity when this is being done to our children? You're right. This is the destruction of our society. And we're in a bad place, a very bad place. And I just hope all the parents out there get out there and fight for their children's education and their lives, because right now in the school systems, they're manufacturing these transgender kids. That's what's happening.
Well, and I got to say this, and John, you're dead on. You're absolutely dead on. I'm noticing now that this indoctrination is working. I'll just give you an example. Yesterday, I was at Chipotle. Kids were hungry. Anyway, daddy didn't want to wait for dinner. And I called up Grace, and Grace hadn't started dinner yet. And she said, you know what? Take the kids to Chipotle and, bring me something when you guys are done. So I'm at Chipotle. And I'm noticing a lot of young people there. And a lot of men are very feminized. I mean, deliberately. The way they wear earrings, the way they do their hair, they paint their nails. I can't believe how many men I saw with painted nails. In other words, either they're androgynous or they're, non-binary. Or, in other words, like, they may not be female, but they're not male anymore. Oh, a metrosexual. Okay, whatever. So the point is that you look at men, and men are very feminized. And then you look at women, and many of them are extremely, or at least their portrayal, they want to be extremely masculine. So it's as if they're being indoctrinated, and they're being told, no, experiment with your gender, experiment with your quote unquote gender identity. You can be anything you want. And it's the way they dress, the way they act, the way they talk. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, if we can't tell the difference between a man and a woman, something as basic as that, we're done. I mean, really, we're done. That's like saying 2 + 2 = 4. And they're saying, no, 2 + 2 = 5. And as George Orwell famously said, once you start saying that, you've lost your freedoms, because now the government controls everything. They control your mind, your body, everything. Okay, 8 o'clock, you know what that means? Kuhner's Call Log, Caller of the Week.
It's time for Kuhner's Call Log, sponsored by MyPillow.com, where we showcase our favorite caller from the week.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Thanks for holding, Ronnie.
My whole feeling about the whole thing can get distilled down into a pretty simple metaphor. Ron DeSantis is the Led Zeppelin cover band, and Trump is Led Zeppelin. Look at the last 2 concerts that the Led Zeppelin cover band has had. His concert at Twitter was a disaster, and his other concert, he went to the most despised arena in the MAGA movement, the Fox News arena, and he sat down with a shameless opportunist like Trey Gowdy that MAGA also doesn't like. And the Led Zeppelin cover band's roadies are all never Trumpers and rhinos. So, Ron DeSantis can get out there and he can lip sync the exact same answers as the lead singer of the real Led Zeppelin. And look, you can go to that concert with a blindfold on and with your eyes closed. It sounds like Led Zeppelin, but the minute you open your eyes, you're smack right back down to reality. And the idea of people calling in, I really like the cover band a lot more than the actual band. And it's like when I saw Led Zeppelin live in concert at the CNN Town Hall, that was a concert. There would be no Ron DeSantis without Trump, just like there would be no Led Zeppelin cover bands without Led Zeppelin. I want the real thing.
And next week, it could be you on Kuhner's Call Log. Sponsored by MyPillow.com.
Please, don't be a stranger. Call again. That was Ronnie. Honestly, a phenomenal call. Really, I got to say, creative, interesting, just a really, really good call. You can also be Caller of the Week, my friend. It's a great honor. And what I want to do as well, I'm going to talk to management. I can't promise anything, but I'd love to maybe give somebody something, merchandise, a shirt, a coffee mug, a baseball cap. So anyway, I'll see what management says. And again, I want to congratulate Ronnie. And again, I want to thank all of you callers because you truly are the best in the business. Okay, my friends, I love MyPillow. You've heard me say it many times. The MyPillow 2.0 is incredible. I've had it now for about 6-7 weeks. Best night's sleep of my life. It is the most luxurious, comfortable, soft pillow you will ever sleep on. And right now they have an incredible deal. You buy one MyPillow 2.0, you get the other one absolutely free. So call 1-800-972-2316, 1-800-972-2316, or go to mypillow.com, mypillow.com, and don't forget the code WRKO. Carol in Bridgewater. Thanks for holding, Carol, and welcome.
Yes, Jeff, just hear me out. I think this is part of another attempt at the installment of the Great Reset, which first the attempt was somewhere around FDR's time, the late 20s, early 30s. I feel like with that failed attempt, they've gone back to it. This is the globalists using each part of what everyone said, religion, family, and everything, to expedite us into this whole, mess that they want us to be in with the depopulation. And depopulation by having sex changes that you can't reproduce. And, this is really an evil agenda of theirs, which makes me now look at China is in with Davos. I mean, you have all these countries that you think aren't part of it, the globalists, the elitists, the 1%ers that want, to use this climate change to get rid of us, to starve us, to, make us just be prisoners in our home. And I start to question whether the old rumors of the Bohemian Grove or Disney having Satanist aspects and marks embedded in it, if this was something that they slowly had the patience to try to implement and put upon us. What do you think?
Well, look, in terms of Disney being run by Satanists, I mean, I can't say if they're actually doing black masses or, sacrificing. What I can tell you is it's evil. What is driving Disney now is evil, and it's demonic. There's no other word. So, look, here, I'll just give you an example. They have a movie premiere now coming out for The Little Mermaid, which my Ava really wants to go see. At this premiere, who does Disney call? A drag queen, Nina West. And Nina West, I mean, they cannot do the premiere without Nina West. And there's Walt Disney promoting drag queen, Nina West, drag queen artists to children. And they're saying they want drag queens now as characters in Disney films, in Disney cartoons, in Disney shows. And this is Disney now. And they're saying, no, they want drag queens in schools. They want drag queens in libraries. They want the whole country to have drag queen story hour. In fact, they said they want Disney to essentially do drag queen story hour every day through their programming and to have drag queen characters and to push transgenderism in their programming. So Disney now is openly saying we want to sexualize children. That's what we want, and we want it in our programming. Now, this is not Walt Disney, man. This is not, the old days of Disney. It's not Mickey Mouse, that's for sure. I can guarantee you that. So the current cabal that is now running Disney, I mean, this is not even woke. I mean, I know it's woke. Of course it's woke. But I mean, we're not talking about, I don't know, affirmative action, whatever it is, defunding the police, which is disgusting. Don't get me wrong. But now you want to sexually exploit and manipulate children? And you guys are a company founded upon entertainment for children? Like, whoa. And they're losing money. Disney streaming is bleeding cash. What is it? They had a big Star Wars theme somewhere in Florida. They're charging people $6,000 or whatever, and people aren't showing up. And I mean, they have to shut that down. Disney is losing money. They're losing customers. They're losing revenue. They don't care. They literally don't care. So there's something going on. They want to corrupt and pollute the culture. And it's happening at a very high level. And it's happening, it's coordinated. It's not one company or two companies. It's many corporations aligned with the Democratic Party, aligned with Hollywood, aligned with academia, aligned with public education unions, aligned with globalists, aligned with, billionaires. It's part of their new world order. It's part, as you put it, as they're part of their great reset. And you have now the World Health Organization coming out and saying, an extension of the UN, that's what it is, saying, we believe now pedophilia should be decriminalized. Children must have rights to enjoy sexual activity of all kinds, or all forms. So their goal is ultimately to have children be their sex slaves. That was much of the world before Christianity. So, we're entering a brave new world. And the elites are pushing this. Now, what I can tell you with absolute certainty, you take this to the bank. This doesn't fly in the Muslim world. This doesn't fly in Russia. This doesn't fly in Asia. This doesn't fly in Latin America. This doesn't fly in Eastern Europe. In other words, in more traditional societies all over the world, they find this utterly revolting. They find it sickening. Because most countries, most cultures, most societies are traditional. Traditional in the sense of being normal. In terms of, you have a family, you love your children, you're not there to sexualize and have sex with them or diddle the kids or what. In other words, so they have a certain concept of right and wrong, good and evil. And this is only happening in the West. And we are becoming more and more and more hated all over the world. And the media doesn't want to cover that. And this is a key reason why. It's not the only one, but it's a key reason why. Now, I got a story coming up. You won't believe it. It's that you literally will not believe it. Now, they're so open, they're not even hiding their agenda anymore. They're not. They're saying the quiet part out loud. I've got that shocking story. Your calls, 617-266-6868 is the number. Transgenderism now gets even more aggressive and militant in its war on America. And what can or should we do to fight back? 617-266-6868 is the number. You can text us 70470, 70470. This is from 617. Jeff, President Kennedy put a man on the moon. President Obama put a man in the ladies' room. This is from 917. Jeff, the Democrats say they believe in science, except, for the chromosome thing. That, they don't believe in that one. That's a very good point. Very, very good point, 917. Okay. You're not going to believe the story. So here it is. I'm going to give it to you, and you can make of it what you will. The Los Angeles Dodgers, professional baseball team, frankly, one of the more marquee franchises in professional baseball, on June 16th have a LGBTQ Pride Night. And that's where they honor certain individuals, certain groups in the LGBTQ plus community. Well, a week ago or several weeks ago, they came out and said they wanted to specifically honor a group of men, I kid you not, a group of men who dress up as nuns, sisters of perpetual indulgence. And they don't just dress up as nuns. They are men with beards, makeup. They mock nuns. They mock the Catholic Church. In fact, they openly say the purpose of them wearing these nuns' clothing is to degrade Christianity, to degrade Catholicism. They wear crucifixes. They use the crucifixes in I got to be careful, it's a family show, in very sexually suggestive manners. They walk around, one of them wears a machine gun to mock nuns and talk about how they want to kill nuns and priests and Catholics and Christians. So they are rabidly anti-Catholic, rabidly anti-Christian. They mock Jesus. They mock Mary. They go on, say the most obscene, sexually vulgar things about Jesus, about Mary, about priests, about nuns, about the church, about Christians, and they act it out as part of their drag act. So it's a sexually charged act whereby they use crucifixes and other things in a very obscene manner. So, and apparently, Sam Britton, the guy that was arrested for stealing luggage, he was part of the Biden administration. He actually was one of them. He literally was one of the sisters of perpetual indulgence. Anyway, long story short, these are rabid anti-Christian, anti-Catholic bigots. They even say it. They don't hide it. They're like, no, we hate Christians. We hate Catholics. We hate priests. We hate nuns. And they openly mock and revile Jesus and the Virgin Mary in the most grotesque sexual ways possible. They got an invitation to be honored by the Los Angeles Dodgers on June 16th. Now, there was massive backlash. I can't tell you the backlash. Why? First of all, many Dodgers fans and people who pay tickets are Latinos. Okay, big Latino community, as you know, Hispanic community in California. Many of them, if they're not religiously Catholic, they're culturally Catholic, raised as Catholics, and they go, this is beyond disgusting. This is blasphemous. So there was a huge backlash. But then the LGBTQ plus community weighed in. And they gave the Dodgers an ultimatum. You want to talk about, again, the Rainbow Mafia. And they said, either you reinvite Sisters of the Perpetual Indulgence to their LGBTQ plus Pride Night, or we are going to destroy you. We're gonna brand you as, quote, transphobic. Incredibly, the Dodgers have now reinvited Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. But they didn't just invite them. They have apologized to them for having disinvited them. I swear to you. So I want to read to you the statement that they released. Quote, this is not the Twilight Zone. I'm not making this up. Quote, after much thoughtful feedback from our diverse communities, honest conversations within the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, and generous discussions with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, the Los Angeles Dodgers would like to offer our sincerest apologies to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, members of the LGBTQ plus community, and their friends and families. We have asked the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to take their place on the field at our 10th annual LGBTQ plus Pride Night on June 16th. We are pleased to share that they have agreed to receive the gratitude of our collective communities for the life-saving work that they have done tirelessly for decades. What life-saving work? I mean, they're rabid anti-Christian, anti-Catholic bigots. Name me one life they've saved. Let me ask you, is it time now to boycott the LA Dodgers? 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, so very quick, as the lines are jammed, I just want to finish this point and then go right to the phone lines. So, Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers, unbelievable, caved to the woke mob. And they have now reinvited Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Now, I want you to think about this. They're not going to honor real nuns and real priests who, dedicate themselves to the poor, to the hungry, to the homeless, to many of these minority communities, in particular in Los Angeles. No. They're going to honor a bunch of guys, these perverts, these sick creeps who dress up as nuns, openly anti-Christian, anti-Catholic, mock Christ, mock Mary, engage in some of the most disgusting sexual acts using the crucifix, crosses, the Bible. You wouldn't believe the stuff that these people do. Frankly, I think they're mentally ill. In all honesty, I think they're mentally ill. And by the way, they're men with beards, with this kind of demonic makeup, but dressed in as nuns. And the Dodgers are going to honor them? Now, what's amazing is that many Latinos have told them, look, we find this beyond revolting, beyond offensive. This is blasphemous. We buy the tickets. We're the ones who buy the tickets, buy the concessions. We buy the jerseys. We buy I was going to say merchandise, but that dates. Apparently I'm dated when I say that. They buy the merch. And they're like, well, we don't care. You don't care? Okay. You want to go broke? Okay. So I'm telling you, let's give the Dodgers the Bud Light treatment. And, it's the same same liberals, same leftists who say, we believe in being inclusive. We believe in diversity. Really, we want to be welcoming. Well, how come you're not being inclusive and welcoming of, Christians, conservatives, Catholics, hell, just normal people? Just normal, decent people? Like what, you can't be welcoming to them? You're spitting right in their face. Puh. Puh. What is now being revealed, this group, Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, but now you're seeing it really, this is at the heart of the transgender movement. You can really see it now, the radical transgender movement. It is now openly, explicitly anti-Christian. It is anti-Catholic. It is anti-God. They're mocking nuns. They're mocking Christ. They're mocking Mary. They can't be clearer. And they're being honored by the Los Angeles Dodgers? Holy shamoli. So this is where we are. This is where we are. Now, does Major League Baseball approve of this? They've already got problems with fans. They've already got problems getting kids to watch and children to watch and parents to watch. This, I hope they go out of business. I really do. If this is now the new trend in professional sports, I hope they all go out of business. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, what do you say? Do you think that the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence should be honored? And why now is Major League Baseball determined to coddle and support an openly anti-Catholic, anti-Christian group, a radical transgender group of bigots? 617-266-6868. Tom in West Virginia. Thanks for holding, Tom, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, first of all, that woman that called maybe over an hour ago that was the lesbian at January 6th, yes. I want to donate to her GoFundMe page. What is her name so I can write that down?
Her name is Kirsten. I don't know what her last name is.
Call back and talk to Sandy. Or better yet, just after the call, let me speak to Sandy if that's okay.
Yeah, we're going to leave you on, and you can talk to Sandy, Tom, and we'll definitely get that information out because I want to support Kirsten and all the January Sixers. But please continue, Tom.
And just for the record, donated $50 to Kyle Rittenhouse's defense fund. So I want to put that on record out there.
God bless you.
I support conservative-minded people, and I'm 63 years old. 40-some-odd years ago, I worked at the Top of the Hub restaurant, and most of the males were gay back then. And I didn't have a problem with that. Not at all. I consider myself a very tolerant individual, but where the line has been crossed, it's the sexualization of children. And you should, at some point, get Ramona Bessinger. I don't know if you know who she is. She was on Tucker Carlson's. She's a Rhode Island school teacher who stood up against the gay mafia and what is going on in the classroom. And she must have had a very good attorney represent her of where she exposed what was going on in the classroom. And the teachers union went after vociferously. And this woman, to me, it should have been the 2022 Woman of the Year. But I look back on my Facebook page. Back in 2012, I made a prediction, which really pissed off a lot of my classmates. I grew up in Foxborough High. A lot of people know who I am. And I said that you're slowly going pedophilia normalized, and it's going to first start coming from academia. Then slowly there will be elements in the LGBT community that will mildly embrace it. And thank God there are groups like Gays Against Groomers. And most of the homosexuals that I knew when I waited on tables and was a busboy back then, there were some of them that told me, in all honesty, that I hate being this way. I wish I wasn't this way. And, I had empathy for them. And I'm not saying that all people are that way. And it's not like somebody wakes up and says, oh, it's Tuesday, I think I'm going to be a metrosexual today. No, there are some people that I honestly believe are born that way. And you know what? I am a Christian. And I accept people for who they are at face value. I judge you by your character, not your sexual preference, not the color of your skin, but who you are as a person. And do you help out other people in need, not being an enabler, but helping out other people in need. That's the basic of our core principles. And with regards to Muslims, yes, in Dearborn, Michigan, you will never see the LGBTQ go into the heart of that community and browbeat Muslims the way they have browbeat Christians in the Northeast. And that it's the same thing with the animal rights activists. You would never see them at a biker rally telling them, how dare you wear leather, because they know the outcome. And you know something? Maybe we Christians should stop turning the other cheek and be like our brothers of Islam. Because I'm to the point now in my life where, no, you know what? You're not going to sexualize my great-grandchildren, and I have 6 of them through marriage, and one is in the 4th grade out in Colorado, and a male teacher showed up in slacks one Monday morning wearing 5-inch stilettos, and the kids all laughed at him. And when I spoke to my granddaughter about it, I said, don't go in alone to complain to the principal. Go in with a different group of mothers. You know, there's power in numbers. And when they went in there, they put a stop to this nonsense. And you're right. The one woman who called earlier talking about China, they're churning out seniors in high school that are taking quantum physics. And we're churning out seniors in high school at Foxborough High, where I grew up with, that, no, it's okay to use the ladies' room. No, I'm done. I'm sick of this. And you know what? There needs to be pushback. And no, we don't need to be anti-gay. You're a male and you're married to a man. I'm a libertarian. Have at it. Good for you. I hope you live well together. I don't want to come across as someone that has disdain for homosexuals. But at some point, homosexuals and lesbians in this country need to say, enough of this. Stop sexualizing children. Let them enjoy their innocence. As they go through puberty, they will figure it out themselves. Bingo. They don't need to be pushed in that direction.
Bingo. Tom, can you hang on? Because Sandy's going to give you all the information that you need. Thank you very much for that call. Absolutely bingo. No, look, you're dead on. And it's until we say no, it's going to continue. It's going to continue. And they have no right to sexualize our children. You only have one childhood. Your innocence only lasts for so many years. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. We have to now say, here we take our stand. It's now or never. 617-266-6868 is the number. I can't believe I have to ask this question. I can't believe it. You want to see how far we've fallen? This is, either you laugh or you cry. So this is the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Kelly Financial Services. Should drag queen shows be limited to adults? In other words, should drag queen shows be limited to people age 18 and above? I have to ask because it's not. So should it be? Yes or no? You know where I stand on this. Yes, I don't care. Adults 18 and above, knock yourself out. But to children, no way. Agree, disagree. I want to hear from you. You can vote on our webpage. Should drag queen performances or drag queen shows be limited to those who are 18 or above? In other words, adults only. What say you? You can vote on our webpage, wrko.com/Kuhner, wrko.com/Kuhner, Kuhner, N as in Nancy, ER. You can also vote via Twitter, our handle there, at the Kuhner Report, KUHNER. Natalie in Lunenburg. Thanks for holding, Natalie, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff. I have been a baseball fan, or let me rephrase. I had been a baseball fan since I was a kid in the 70s. I ate, slept, drank, dreamed, everything baseball. A Red Sox cap never came off of my head. I went to all kinds of famous games. I stopped cold turkey in 2020 when the Red Sox spit on the tradition of the team and the people who supported them and sided with a Marxist group called Black Lives Matter that wanted to kill police officers and wanted to impose Marxism. That was it. I'm done. So now the Dodgers fans, they have a choice, and other people do as well. This group, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, fits the standard of a hate group. So if we're going to honor them, what's next? The Westboro Baptist Church? Why not? Or a minstrel show? Why not? It's all in the name of diversity, is it not? Jeff, could you tell me who said that the way for evil to triumph is for men of goodwill to do nothing?
I believe it was Edmund Burke.
I think you're right. So I urge the people in Los Angeles, a diverse community, but like any other community of people, largely people of goodwill, people from all backgrounds, gay, straight, Chicano, black, Latinx. I didn't mean to gender the words, even though their nouns are gendered in Spanish, but let that go. They need to stand out there when this game is going to be played, this ceremony is going to be performed. They need to lock arms. They need to use the same slogans that have been used, such as, hate has no home here. Anti-Catholic hate is hate. And they need to lock arms and oppose this, because this is flat out wrong. Remember, like, when the guards at the Abu Ghraib prison had Muslim inmates in dog collars on all fours? And what an outrage that was? What the hell is the difference here with portraying nuns in such a demeaning manner? One of the nuns' characters' names is Sister Mary Fellatio. I mean, seriously? We're going to honor people like this? I want the Westboro Baptist Church in there then. Fair's fair.
Natalie, it's not, and the names are disgusting, but it's sexual disgusting acts that they perform in public or simulate in public. What they do to Jesus, what they do to Mary. It's beyond grotesque. It's blasphemous. It's sickening. Natalie, I have to ask you, I got to ask you, really, there's two questions. Number one, just humor me for a second. Imagine this wasn't, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, but the Muslims of Perpetual Indulgence. Say this was a group of men, drag queens, but they dressed up as Muslims, and they used the Quran, and they used it for they sexualized it, and they simulated having sex with Prophet Muhammad, and putting him in a chain and a dog collar, and simulating sex with Prophet Muhammad. Do you think the LA Dodgers would be honoring them for LGBTQ Pride Month? And two, do you think the Muslim community, what would they do? Would they allow this? And would the LGBTQ community defend them? In other words, they're not an anti-Catholic hate group, but they're an anti-Muslim hate group. What would the reaction be? I'm just curious.
Charlie Hebdo?
Oh, they'd be dead. You're saying they'd be beheaded. They're gone. They're finished.
Yeah. What did they do? They're irreverent, and they hit every target. They don't care, and they put the cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad on their cover of their magazine, and there was a bloodbath. And then all the media outlets all retracted, and everybody backed off, and nobody dares stand up for free speech because, well, hate speech isn't free speech. That's violence. Well, this is hate speech. What the hell is the difference?
Interesting. Natalie, let me ask you this. You're dead on, and you're on fire, by the way. Okay, let's leave the Muslim reaction out of it. Do you think the Dodgers would honor them on June 16th? If this was an anti-Muslim, same group, they're just mocking Muslims now in the Prophet, not Catholics and Jesus.
And the reality in our society today is that hate has no home here unless you're hating the correct target.
Bingo. 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 Natalie, drop the mic. Drop the mic. Natalie, as always, thank you so much for your call. So that, you see, it shows to you the hypocrisy of the whole thing. So, if this was an anti-Muslim hate group, drag queens mocking Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, first of all, they wouldn't do it because they know what's going to happen to them. And B, you think the Dodgers would be saying, oh, yeah, we're going to reward them. Yeah, they've saved so many lives over so many decades. We're going to honor them. No way in hell. No way. And the LGBTQ community, you think they'd be an outbreak? Just humor me, okay? Let's just play it out. The Dodgers, it's an anti-Muslim drag queen hate group, okay? The Dodgers say, well, we want to honor them. We're going to put them on the field, and there's a backlash, and the Dodgers back off. But then they say, no, we're going to reinvite them. Do you think the LGBTQ community would be applauding them? Yeah, you're standing up for transgender rights. No. They'd be saying, don't do it. CNN would be saying, don't do it. The Los Angeles Times, the Washington Post, the New York Times. Hell, you'd have Joe Biden going berserk. That would wake him up. That was doing, oh my God, what happened to Joe? He's alive again. He's moving. He's moving all of a sudden. He'd run in front of a microphone. Hate has no home here. I condemn the Dodgers. So, Islam completely protected. Completely. But if you're a Christian and you're a Catholic, blank you. Blank you. So, we can see what's at the heart of the transgender agenda. We can see it. It's obvious. It's pure anti-Christian, anti-Catholic hatred. Case closed. Case closed. So, it's not about tolerance. It's not about acceptance. It's not about, we just want to live our lives in peace, because you can do that. No, you can't stop. You can't stop your war on Christianity. You can't stop your war on the Catholic Church. You can't stop your war on our children. You can't stop your war on America. 617-266-6868 is the number. Ray in Salem. Thanks for holding, Ray, and welcome.
Hey, Salem. Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you, Ray?
Good. I have a little twist on this, okay?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I'm thinking, okay, we got the North Face, right?
Yes.
And they're coming at us, with their agenda. But the North Face is a competition with what? Yeah, I'm a member of EMS. Eastern Mountain Sports.
Okay.
They've always been a competition. They have always been a competition.
Well, I mean, if the backlash continues, Ray, I don't think they're going to be much of a competition much longer. You see, this is what I mean. Here, look, everybody, look, the Latinos in LA and in Southern California, they're going crazy over this. You got to go on social media. They're going nuts over this. So now boycott Dodgers or boycott LA Dodgers, it's everywhere. So just like, Bud Light, losing, hemorrhaging, bleeding support, bleeding money. Target, bleeding support, bleeding money. Walt Disney, bleeding support, bleeding money. Netflix, bleeding support, bleeding money. The North Face, bleeding support, bleeding money. The Dodgers now, bleeding support, bleeding money. They don't care. That's the part I can't wrap my mind around. In the end, if you don't sell tickets and you don't sell merch, you're going bankrupt. The North Face, you keep doing ads like this where you're ramming drag queens down our throats, or in particular down the throats of our children. No one's going to buy your merchandise, man. Target, you keep promoting satanic LGBTQ merch to children in the kids section. Yeah, you're going to go broke. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. So, don't you have a responsibility to your shareholders? Don't you have a responsibility, to your employees? I mean, they do, they rely on their check to feed their families, pay their bills, put a roof over their head. But don't you want to stay in business? It's almost as if they're possessed. I mean, I'm sorry. I know it sounds crazy to say this, but it really is what Ron DeSantis said. It's a woke mind virus. It's like something has gotten in their brain or in their soul. It's like a freaking virus. And it just jumps from one corporation or one person to another. And it's like they sit around and say, so how are we going to commit suicide today? Really, financial suicide. So how are we going to blow up everything that we've built? Let's just blow it up sky high. How are we going to do that? Well, we're the LA Dodgers. Okay. You know what? We don't just get drag queens. No. We get the most vile, sick, demented, perverted drag queens. The ones that make fun of Jesus. They have him in sexual positions. Yeah. And they make fun of nuns. Yeah. And dog collars and the Virgin Mary and the most sickening, obscene, vile stuff you can think of. Yeah. And we're going to honor them. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. That's your business strategy? Okay. 617-266-6868. See, that's the part. It's like really taking an axe and cutting your left hand. What are you doing? There's not that many drag queens in Los Angeles. Hell, I don't even think there's that many anti-Christian, anti-Catholic drag queens in Los Angeles. And you're going to throw it all away for this? Judy in Vermont. Thanks for holding, Judy, and welcome.
Hi, Jeff. Long time no talk. I just see this whole trans movement as a campaign to voluntarily sterilize a generation of America. Because, well, first, the gay population, they can still reproduce. They're intact biologically. What is the entire corporate globalist agenda is to decrease population. So they have to be all in for the trans because the ultimate end the end game is that they are no longer able to reproduce. They have to get the kids while they're young. They give them pretty flags. They have the teachers applaud them. They have the parents behind them because they think they're being, woke and it's the new fad. It's the new trendy thing to talk about at cocktail parties. We are being replaced. The influx of all the immigration coming in, they are replacing us. They want us dead. They want us dead. What better way than to make parents voluntarily neuter their children like they would a pet? It is disgusting. To me, that's the end game. That's why it's all about trans. The drag queen people, that is for trans. That's not gays. Gay people don't go to drag shows. This is all a primer to get people to change their biological sex. When you change your biological sex, you become sterile. This is the campaign. People have to wake up. This is how I see it.
Don't get me wrong, Judy. I only have eyes for my wife, but I love you in a non-sexual way, my friend. Brilliant. Absolutely freaking brilliant. Judy, if you don't mind me asking, have you done an IQ test or something?
Brilliant.
No, really. You're in genius
I'm
category.
kidding.
No, I'm telling you. If you haven't, I'll bet you anything you want. Hell, I'll bet you a case of Bud Light. You are definitely a genius, my friend. Judy, you nailed it. You absolutely boom. I mean, Judy, you haven't called in a while, Judy? Well, you got to call more often, Judy. You promise you'll call more often?
I will, but really, people have to wake up.
Oh, you're dead. No, Judy.
Don't do it to your kids like they're
Judy, this is the call. I'm telling you, this is the call. Judy, God bless you and have a great Memorial Day weekend. She nailed it. I mean, to use the baseball analogy, since we're talking Dodgers, forget home run, grand slam. Walk off, grand slam. Wins the game, boom. 4 runs, bang, grand slam. She's completely right. Absolutely, she's completely right. This is the whole point of the transgender movement. It's part of the transhuman movement. And the transhuman movement is to essentially destroy humanity. In other words, to make us, in a sense, almost a cyborg, non-human, to neuter us. And she's completely right. That's why they want to get him young. Remember the old saying the Jesuits used to say, give me your child until 12, we've got him for life. The Marxists picked that up, and they said that's why they had to go into education, especially early elementary school education. You get them young, you got them for the rest of your life. So go after the kids and impose this transgender, this gender ideology and this trans ideology. And so what you want to do is tell girls they're boys, tell boys they're girls, or they don't care. They're a little bit of both, or they're neither, or they're a they, or a them, whatever. Start lopping body parts off. And that's it. You're done. And you can regret it later, as so many do. Well, by then, it's, as they say, that train has left the station. It's too late. And so what are you doing? You're creating a generation of neutered, sterile people. It's part of the depopulation agenda. They're not pushing this on illegals. This is for the Americans. No. We cannot have children. They will replace us. The population goes down, and those who replace us are a submissive, servile population to serve their globalist overlords. And that's why these corporations are willing to take a big hit to their bottom line, because they're playing the long game. 617-266-6868. Harry in Chelmsford. Thanks for holding, Harry, and welcome.
How you doing, Jeff?
Good. How are you, Harry?
Oh, a little aggravated here. I think we all are.
Thinking of becoming a drag queen, a drag artist, Harry. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just terrible. I'm a conservative Christian myself. It's all one word, Jeff. It's all, and this goes farther than the LGBT community. This is all about, the stuff going on with the Democrats against, the Donald Trump lies and hatred. And it's all about godlessness. People have just walked away from God. The founding fathers of this country, one nation under God.
That's right.
Okay? And we've taken that away and thrown it away. And now we're spitting on it. And, the daughters of, whatever they are, the sons of perpetual.
Oh, sisters of perpetual indulgence. Harry, do me a favor, please. I don't want to cut you off. You're making such an important point. I want to go back to Harry. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay. Harry in Chelmsford was making a really good point. Everything stems from godlessness. As Dostoevsky, the famous Russian novelist, wrote, once you remove God, everything, and he means everything, becomes permissible. And that's pretty much now where we are. Harry, please pick up where you left off.
I have two more points to make. All right, people, the gays and the lesbians community, I have no problem with letting them do what they want. I'll stay out of their way. They stay out of my way. But when you involve little children in this, you're crossing a line. And I think as a country, we're showing you that by all this loss in your businesses out there that are promoting this. Okay, there's that. And if you want some proof of it, go on YouTube and look up Sodom and Gomorrah proof of existence that happened. And this geologists that are out there that have found the scorched, melted earth around that area of Sodom and Gomorrah. If you don't know where it is, it's in the Old Testament. I suggest you go look at it because, there's the proof. And I hate to say it, but God's going to have his vengeance on you. We're not. We're just going to boycott you and put you out of business, but it goes deeper for them people.
Well, Harry, look, to me, this is my fear. When you start to turn your back on God, and we're doing that now as a society, God's going to turn his back on us. And when you turn your back on God, in other words, when you're saying there's no God, there's no truth, ultimately there's no right and wrong, there's no good and evil, I mean, look what you're unleashing. And that's what I fear we're starting to have. I mean, now, for the first time in Western history, we are contemplating now the possibility of pedophilia, the open sexual grooming and exploitation of children. It is being mainstreamed, or they're trying to, right in front of our eyes. It's like I feel I'm living in some nightmare, and please, somebody wake me up. Erica in Plymouth. Thanks for holding, Erica, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff.
Erica, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm your protesting nurse in Plymouth. It's been a while.
Yes, great to hear from you, Erica.
How are you? I'm listening every day.
Well, I mean, Erica, I'm thinking of becoming a drag queen, I'm thinking I've never been honored by the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'd like the Red Sox to honor me, huh? I wouldn't mind that. What do you think? Maybe have merchandise named after me. I can start doing commercials, become a big-time social media influencer, Erica, make millions of dollars. I mean, all I got to do is put on a wig, some lipstick, and dance and sing a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you, these are not the cross-dressers of my childhood. I grew up in Provincetown in the 80s, and I'm telling you, they would shut down their show if they knew there was a minor in the audience. Like, this is a whole different movement. But I wanted to tell you, I heard this morning about why these companies are going woke, and it's called the CEI, the Corporate Equality Index, is what's driving them. It's put out by the HRC. I'm not sure what that company is. They made it up. And it's just pushing what companies are pushing woke agendas, and they're credited based on that, and it trickles right down to their financiers and everything. So that's who's driving this whole agenda.
So in other words, Erica, according to this Corporate Equality Index, or Corporate Equity Index, I think it's called, the more woke you are, the more points you get, right? And I guess the more your status is elevated in the woke financial community, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and if you get a bad score, the woke investors, it trickles down. So the woke investors aren't going to invest in you. It affects your commercial time. I mean, it's amazing how it trickles right down to us, right? So it was put out by Robbie Starbuck this morning on a social media post with a whole very interesting little skit thing he had. I don't know who did it. It was all about this. Very, very informative.
Well, I got to say, Erica, you're dead on, by the way. You're absolutely dead on. Look, it's clearly organized, and they're trying to pressure and blackmail corporations to go woke. As you put it, we're not going to invest in you. We're not going to do much business with you. So the more woke you are, the more you're going to get money. The less woke you are, the less money you're going to get. But I got to say this, Erica. You know, Sandy and I were just talking about this off air a while back. You know, Milton Berle. There's so many, even in the 1950s. You know, men would dress up as women and it'd be kind of funny and there was almost an innocence about it. Do you ever see the movie with Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire? Yeah, or Some Like It Hot with Tony Curtis. But, yeah, White Chicks, yeah, that movie. In other words, you know, there's been all these movies where it's funny. You know, it's kind of innocent. It's just funny. You're laughing. Robin Williams has to be a grandmother or pretend to be a grandmother or some kind of a maid to be close to his kids. And it's funny to see a man dressed as a woman trying to pretend to be a woman. So but there was no sexualization to it. Now, it's like they all dress up like hookers and prostitutes. Really, it's all garter belts and stilettos and stockings, and it's just sex, 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 sex. Am I wrong?
A totally perverted mental illness. Like, I see so many. I grew up in P-Town in the 80s, like I said. I knew these people who did this. They were good folks. They were respectful. They cared about the community. This is not the same cross-dressers of our 80s. I mean, we call them transvestites and cross-dressers. And I actually knew a guy. He was married to a woman. They lived in Florida in the winter. He was married to a woman. He did this in the summer just for fun. He came and got his nails done, like, but he was married to a woman.
It was a gag. Yeah, no, I know. It was a gag. No, I hear you. Thank you for that call. Really, really good call. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's Bulldozer. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, we're going to continue with your calls, but first, joining us now, as she always does at this time, the CEO, co-founder, president of Kelly Financial Services, Kelly. Kelly, how are you?
Good morning, Jeff. I am good. This morning, I want to share a study I recently read that confirms a feeling we've had at Kelly Financial for some time now. Today's clients do not want yesterday's retirement. A new study from Edward Jones and AgeWave concluded that today's retirees and pre-retirees are changing the definition of success in retirement. They want to be active, engaged, and purposeful. Nearly 3/4 of retirees think they will live longer than their parents, with the majority believing their generation will need to work longer than previous generations to achieve financial security. Kelly Financial can help you plan a fulfilling retirement. A good place to start is our consumer guide, The Changing Story of Retirement. For your free copy or to set up a complimentary appointment with one of our advisors, give us a call or email us at kelly@kellyfinancial.org. Jeff, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Safe Money Strategies Radio, I will continue this conversation on retirement along with our Kelly advisors. I invite your listeners to tune in. Jeff, happy Memorial Day weekend. My best to Grace, Ashton, and Ava.
Thank you, Kelly. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. God bless you. That's kellyfinancial.org, kellyfinancial.org. Okay, just super quick, because I think this needs to be said. Where is the Catholic Church? Well, really, where is the Catholic Church? Where's the Pope? Where's the Vatican? Where's Cardinal Sean? Where are the bishops? Just where are they? I'm talking not just about the Los Angeles Dodgers, and them honoring, this blatantly anti-Catholic, anti-Christian drag queen hate group, but on all of this, on this transgender war on our children. Why are they not denouncing it? Why aren't they calling it for the sin and the moral perversion that it is? To me, how can you not speak out against this? Especially in light of the church and what happened with the sexual abuses. To me, they have now a moral responsibility to speak out and say, no, absolutely not. Instead, nothing. Nothing. Now, very, very quick. I mentioned mental illness. Clearly, you look at that Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, they scream mental illness. So a lot of these people are not just, pedophiles in disguise or sick, perverted people. Some of them really, they are mentally ill. Like it's just, the elevator doesn't go to the top. Now, if you don't believe me, this is now what passes for rational discussion among many in the transgender community. You've got to listen to this. So in San Francisco, this is a massive story. There was a black transgender individual, Banco Brown, entered a Walgreens. Long story short, was shoplifting, was confronted by an armed security guard, and there was a struggle that broke out. In order to defend himself, the armed security guard killed the armed trans shoplifter, Banco Brown. It was self-defense. And even the liberal San Francisco district attorney said, no, look, we looked into this. This was clear self-defense. The aggressor was Banco Brown, the criminal was Banco Brown, and the Walgreens security officer was simply defending himself from an armed transgender shoplifter. Well, the transgender community went apoplectic, and they showed up at a local session, local city council. Now, this was them protesting the decision by the DA not to prosecute the security officer, the Walgreens security person, for the death of Banco Brown. You want to see insanity, or in this case, you want to hear insanity? Listen to this. Right in front of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, this is the public comment section on the slaying of Banco Brown. Listen to this. So, a transgender activist walks up to the microphone. Roll cut 46. Mike.
I hate this! I hate what you've done to us! I hate what you're doing to us! I hate you, Board of Supervisors! I hate you, London Breed! I hate you, Jenkins!
He needs to suffer solitary confinement with that security guard. Y'all have these armed guards. He's walking free.
Oh, that's the DA. The guy the person they're denouncing is the DA. That's a rational argument. That passes for a rational argument for those in the transgender community. This is, I'm telling you. I mean, Jeff, you must have had, no. I think we played the whole cut in full, right, Sandy? Yes, the whole cut in full. This was it. That's their argument. This is how they try to reason with people. Now, you're going to tell me they're not, some of them aren't mentally ill? Holy shamoli. 617-266-6868 is the number. No. According to the Moonbats, I'm the extremist. Me. Sue in New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Sue, and welcome.
Thank you for taking my call, Jeff.
Hi, Sue.
Hi. So, that was, please don't ever play that again. That was just blood curdling. But I just wanted to call out the owners.
It's Socratic almost, eh, Sue? I mean, when I hear that, I think Socrates, I think Aristotle, the reasoning, the logic, the argumentation. My God, Sue, this was a masterclass. Lincoln is envious in heaven, looking down, saying, I wish I could be as articulate as that person.
Well, I was just thinking that, it's time to call out the owners of these corporations, and the Dodgers, for one, is a corporation. And do you mind if I just tell the people who own these companies?
Yeah, please. I want to know, please.
Baseball Management, which is out of New York City, which is, enough said. Mark Walter, Magic Johnson, Stan Kasten, Peter Guber, Bobby Payton, and Todd Bowley, and Billie Jean King and her wife, Lana Kloss, and Alan Smolinski. They're the newer owners, and Robert Plummer. So I think that needs to be said. Maybe we can hold them accountable personally for this. Like, hey, what's going on here? Why are you allowing this? Like, this is ridiculous. The other one is Target. And this is goes a little deeper into the problem here. So who owns Target? You just go look up Target TGT, Yahoo Finance, go under Holder, and Vanguard, Capital World Investors, State Street, BlackRock, but wait a minute, Massachusetts Financial Services. So everybody listening right now, okay, if your stocks are in Massachusetts Financial Services, you own Target, okay? You're part owner. You have power, okay? Don't forget that you have the power here. That's the thing. People don't realize how much power they have. And just to go into BlackRock, okay, who is BlackRock created and CEO'd by? Larry Fink. Who's Larry Fink? Very, very powerful man. And he happens to be on the board of the World Economic Forum. And if we can just go to the World Economic Forum for just a second, because I love to kind of, on my off time, I'm trying to help stop
You're
all this,
connecting all the dots. Keep going, Sue.
Wish to God everybody else, people would understand their power of just, we don't have reporters here because they're also owned by BlackRock. So you know what? Those 5 companies, in the end, if you go up the ladder, all along the same people coming out of the World Economic Forum. And the 3 other companies, okay, they're very important here. Okay, if they're called management consulting companies. McKinsey, they're out of Chicago and they're immensely powerful. You've got Boston Consulting Group and you've got Bain and Company. Okay, these consulting companies, okay, it's sort of like a trickle down. Okay, they're heavily into the World Economic Forum. They pass the word down to these corporations. So do you understand now why this is all happening? It's being trickled down. And wait till you see when the carbon tax trickles down. All the companies are going to get into that. And yes, that does have to do with digital currency.
And climate change. Sue, really good call. Very informational. 617-266-6868 is the number. Jay in New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Jay, and welcome.
Yeah, hi, Jeff. I want to tell you that the family court of Moscow, Massachusetts, forced me to allow the mother of my kids to put my kids in a private school in Manchester by the Sea, Brookwood School. Supposed to be prestigious school. I went to the sexual orientation seminar 13 years ago for the kindergartners, and I felt the presence of the speaker. I just felt like a demonic presence in this person. Kind of like when Nancy Pelosi speaks, you just sense that there's a lot of evil going on and behind the whole agenda whenever people like this speak. I really feel like God has taken his hand of protection off of this country, and that we're pretty much Satan is taking over and running the show. And God's turned his back on us like we did on him when we took the Bible out of the schools. And the government is so corrupt and evil that I don't see this turning around. Although it's going to take a lot of prayer. A lot of people that have faith to maybe turn this thing around.
Jay, our founding fathers prayed. I pray. To me, prayer is essential. And I know a lot of people pray, and they should pray. Jay, I'm just curious. Sexual orientation for a kindergartner? Really? Hello,
for
Jay?
a year of the agenda. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you just repeat? So for one of your children, it was in kindergarten, and they're already doing sexual orientation for a kindergarten student, a child.
13 years ago, they pioneered these programs, Jeff, in Massachusetts at the private schools, and then it went on into the public schools. They were there for 9 years, right up to 8th grade. The plays, the head witch was played by a boy. The boys played Sunflowers. The girls sang a song that had made constant reference to anal sex throughout the song. I'm sure the parents, I'm sure the teachers were aware of that. It's kind of secretive in the song, but I'm sure that the faculty there was well aware of what they were promoting. And, my kids are very, very open-minded. I took them to church 3 hours every other Sunday and did everything I could, but they're very open-minded. And, it's not that I'm a closed-minded person, but I am Christian, and I did raise my kids that way. And they don't want to hear a word about anything I have to share with them. They're completely sold out to these people. You know that China and Russia have been infiltrating our school systems with funding and agendas.
Oh, no question. It was the Soviet Union. You're right. No, it was the Soviet Union, and now China has picked it up. And look, I mean, they want to indoctrinate our kids. It's so obvious. They don't allow that in their countries. No way. But they're spewing this filth and garbage in ours. Jay, thank you very much for that call. It doesn't surprise me that Massachusetts would be one of their pilot programs. It doesn't. Mass and California. That's where it all begins. David in Saugus. Thanks for holding, David, and welcome.
Thanks for having me on, Jeff. I bet you if you said some very provocative things to Sandy, you could probably have a sexual harassment suit on you, but I don't understand why it's okay for teachers. We lost this country when we stopped praying in school. We stopped pledging allegiance to the flag. Now it's okay to burn an American flag, but a hate crime to burn a pride flag. I mean, we got more Rainbow Pride Month displays in stores than we do Veterans Day and Memorial Day. What if teachers secretly gave their students purity rings, started baptizing them in the name of Jesus on school grounds, and then asked them to keep it secret from their parents? How upset would the particular group of people be about this?
Oh, they'd be livid. You're completely right. They'd be up in arms. In fact, I don't know if you've seen this. It's kind of breaking, but now it looks like in Oregon, the governor wants to sign a bill that would allow genital mutilation surgery. They call it bottom surgery. In other words, 15-year-old minors could now have a sex change operation, male or female, and without parental knowledge or parental consent.
Any church with a pride flag on it is not a church, in my opinion. And the Catholic Church, I feel, with their sex crimes in the past, have lost their way, and I feel like they almost promote it so they can cover up what their priest did back in the day. They're not the Catholic Church they used to be, Jeff.
It's not the church of my youth, I can tell you that. No, you're dead on. And I got to say, David, it's true. You're completely right. If I said the things to Sandy, as an example, what is being promoted by drag queens or drag queen story hour or what's being read to our children, I'd be up on sexual harassment charges. You're completely right. In fact, I don't want to mention the book. I don't want to plug it, but we talked about it earlier. It was almost a how-to instructional on boys being able to have sex, forgive me, with men, with adults. And the parents were so outraged, they were pushing this in the schools, they began to read the contents of the book at the school board meeting. And those moonbats were so disgusted by what they heard, they said, please stop, I'm going to throw up. And they're like, well, you're an adult and you're about to vomit because this is how vile this is. But it's okay for our kids to read it? So, anyway, so Sandy tells me the Oregon story is from March, so it's not even that recent. So my bad on that. But it's what they're pushing in Oregon. So there you go. I mean, 15 years old, sex change operation. By the way, I swear to you, if my Ashton or Ava gets sick, like whatever, fever, tummy ache or whatever, the school has to call either Grace or I and ask us for permission to give them an aspirin or a Tylenol. But at 15, they could just lop it off without us even knowing about it? I don't think so. Frank in Medford. I've got 1 minute, Frank. The floor is yours. Go.
All right, quickly. Everybody's waking up. All this is connected to the deep state. That last woman just said everything is connected to the deep state. We have the power. Who showed us this? Trump just finished off half their money. CNN is going under. Twitter's going under. He's taking out FBI. He's taking everybody down. They're running out of money. He needs you to find all these companies and boycott them. He said at all his rallies, we the people have constitutional rights. We have the power to finish them off. If you all step in, get your Trump flags out, get the motorcycles. I'm going up the Hudson where I was asked to go. I'm going to have a flag out there. Support this president. I understand what's going on. I appreciate them calling me out. I will be up there. Let's support Trump. We have the power to finish off their money. All this crap was going against the Bible.
It's going against the Bible. It's going against common decency. It's going against any civilized norms of any normal society. You don't sexualize or exploit children. You just don't do it. There are certain moral red lines you don't cross. The Moonbats now are crossing them, and it's time for us to push back. Okay, my friends, Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be off Monday, but we will be back Tuesday. I hope you all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and please never forget the fallen. Bye-bye.